So when you are getting ready to coach someone, there are three elements that when you do them well, it will set up a great foundation for the coaching conversation to be successful. And the three that we're identifying as the essential elements, if you will, are first, how you make the request or invitation for someone to come in for a coaching session. The second is establishing and maintaining rapport throughout the coaching conversation. And lastly, having a clear distinction around what the intention for the coaching is and what the objectives are, making sure that that's clear for both you and who you're coaching. So in this first video, we're going to talk about how do you make the request? How do you invite someone into a coaching session that creates a powerful foundation so that the conversation isn't from a superior to a subordinate, but is really the ideal is a partnership. Two people having a conversation to discover something new about a situation or looking for a way to resolve something together or create something together. So how do you suggest, what do you think are great ideas for how someone can make an invitation for someone to coach, to come in for a coaching conversation that would, again, create that partnership?
Yeah, that's great. So the first thing is, I know we all do before we go into the conversation, I always go through this process of priming myself for it to make sure I'm really clear about that I'm going in for learning and development. And I think you mentioned that before, and it's really, really important, but it also puts me in the right frame of mind because I'm so busy running around doing my other things. I need to get myself ready. So it's preparing myself as much as it is the other person. The second thing is that it's really helpful just to be in a positive mindset. So if you think about coaching, it's really an opportunity to learn and develop. But if you go and ask someone, say, hey, I want to have a conversation with you, you can scare the crap out of them. Oops, I shouldn't have said that.
That's okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Oh, you can cut and paste. Okay. You could really intimidate them if you're not really careful with how you do it. So what's really helpful is to come in with the idea, hey, I've got some idea. I'd like something to talk about, or I see some opportunities here. I'd like to explore it with you and put a positive energy toward it, like you want to explore something with them. And as you all know, coaching is not something you do as a transaction, not to fly by the night. You really want to take the time and slow down to do this. So you say, hey, I'd like to have a conversation. I've got something really, something exciting to look at, or something that I think could be very beneficial to us. I'd really like to explore it with you. And then just say, are you open to that? Literally pause, and then pause, just wait. Say, are you open to doing that? And they might go, oh, because they're coming out of their own mindset of where they are. They've been caught at running around some things, and all of a sudden you're coming something that's disturbing that normal flow they're in. So right. You just got to be patient with them and let that sit.
Yeah, that's so good because like I said, the normal relationship or the sort of day-to-day relationship is one of superior and subordinate, or someone's the boss and someone's the employee, or whether they're a volunteer or not. I should say volunteer or paid, is that there's this hierarchy. And coaching, it's critical that isn't the case during the conversation. So what you're talking about is so important, is to approach it with that kind of curiosity and that interest in learning something new, not only about the person, but about the situation, because there's so much we don't know because we're not looking at it from that person's point of view. So I think, asking, are you interested? Would you be willing? Are you open to a conversation to see if we can come up with some ideas? Things like that give people a pause to just kind of check in and say, I don't know, am I, is this something I'm willing to be open about? And like you said, they may need a minute or two. You may want them to right away say, yes, I do. But it's really important to just pause. And
the other reason for the pause is because they're trying to simulate, are you going to be supervising me and telling me something I'm not doing? And they're trying to figure out where that is. That's why how you approach that in terms of your openness and being interested and positive is going to be an important factor.
No doubt. No
Yeah.
doubt. I used to call it the principal syndrome when I used to coach managers and supervisors. The principal's office syndrome, right? When you got called into the principal's office when you were a kid, everybody would be like, "You're in trouble," right? So
Yeah.
people still have that experience. So when a supervisor says, "Hey, I want to talk to you about something," even if you say it in a way that would be quote unquote perfect, you still have the other person is in their mindset, and what's the mindset that they're in. So I think taking that into consideration, that might be that you take them aside rather than asking them that in front of other people, right? Hey, I need to talk to you for a minute, and then you go to the side and say, I have this idea, and or there's something I really want to get your input on, and I'd like us to work together to resolve something, or however you would put words to it. But you've now shown respect by taking them to the side and sharing what you're up to.
Yeah, I think the more relaxed you can be in how you engage the person about that, how you interact with them is makes a big difference. So typically, one of the best ways, because people are moving around, is to do it what I call in the flow of normal thing. And then if you pass them by, then you might just say, "Hey, I've got something I'd like to talk to you about later, and I'd like to be able to explore a topic with you. Is that okay?" And it's quick like that. And then you move on to something else because you may be there, but you planted the seed. It sounds positive. They might come up and say, "Hey, have I done something right?" I say, "Oh, no, it's not about that. This is something for us that I really want to explore. And I think it's really neat. And we'll talk about it." Because often the time may not be right then and there. To say, "Are you open to it right now?" assumes that you're in a context that is suitable for it. And often that's not the case. So the other thing is that just in terms of doing that is you want to make sure that when you sit down to actually start doing it, that you're in the right kind of environment where you're away from other people. But sometimes people are aware, like, "Oh my gosh, they pulled me off the other side." Everybody sees it, and then a red flag goes off, and then they get nervous.
Yeah, and the more you do it, the more part of the part of the culture will be. But initially, it can be awkward. So just be willing to be relaxed about it. Just be willing to sort of experiment with different things and find out for yourself what works. But just know that how you make the invitation does impact the the quality of the conversation.
So I'd say the key word I'd say is you want to be as relaxed as you can when you make the request. You just want to be in a good, relaxed mindset. And if you're not, just wait. Just wait a little bit later until another time. And when the person comes by, "Hey, hey, I'd like to get some time with you. Maybe we can talk a little after that. I've got an idea I want to explore with you."
Very good. Thank you.